we are, folks. Episode 98. Pathfinder Goodness, Abomination Vaults. Goodness. We're going to continue our campaign. So far, so good. We're down to 3 players tonight. Going to be missing out on Jessie. Kat, I don't think she's going to make it tonight. She might. We'll see. And Ted is out for the next 2 weeks. So we got 3 players tonight. We're going to introduce those players as we get into this. And let's start with Dizzy. Frau Dizzy, go for it. Who are you playing tonight?
I play as Agatha, the witch of the group. Kind of the back area defense. Not much to really say, and that's pretty much it.
Powerful magic's afoot, along with her little spider companion, who likes to dance around her shoulder and hide in her hair, whispering things. And while that's going on, we've got Kyle.
Yes, sir. I'm Kyle. I'll be playing Anorian, our frontline replacement. He's a magus, druid for the bear, because I'll also be playing Grizzleton. And now a third thing that we'll reveal at a later date. But yeah, he's our kind of heavy hitter, frontline guy. Can also help with spell casting ability a bit, and really powerful. Can actually bend the two together and make some pretty powerful hits. So, yeah. And then we got Grizzleton there. He's a short little cub, but he's fiery.
Mm-hmm.
He's feisty. He likes to gnaw on them ankles a wee bit. And, yeah.
When does he actually start growing and getting up in size?
I would have to take the feat mature animal companion.
Oh, you gotta take a feat for that. Okay.
Yeah, and then he would go from small to medium. All the stats go up by 1.
Right now he's small.
Yeah, small but feisty.
Small but feisty. That works. Okay, then we got Rachel. She's in here tonight once again, playing you know who.
And that person is Cypher. I'm Rachel. Tonight I happily play as Cypher. She sings songs from the shadows as a bard rogue. Kind of enjoying her time down here. She loves dungeon diving and uncovering mysteries, but she often does this alone. So she's in her element, but also at the same time is not, as she has other companions with her. And she often has to put up with them as much as they put up with her.
That'd be true. Fantastic. Alright, everybody's got their hero point for bringing snacks to the session. Once again, we took care of that. What kinds of snacks tonight? Mountain Dews, and licorice whips, hard candies, and soft. All kinds of goodies. So we got that taken care of. Everybody's got a hero point. And for a bonus hero point, somebody's going to do a recap. Who wants to do the recap for a bonus hero point? Anybody?
I can.
Anybody else? Okay. Okay, Kyle.
Sounds like we got a volunteer!
It's always been me, guys. Come on now. But yeah, when last we left our intrepid band of adventurers, we had just finished exploring around. I believe we were exploring around the upper level, so we decided we were going to descend down at those set of steps, and we found the entrance to the lower level. So we decided we were going to go poking around in there, kind of explored all we could. So down we went and started opening up some doors, exploring around, and we came to a really wide chamber that had a bunch of overgrown mushrooms and fungi and whatnot have you, and spider webs everywhere. We went to the right, went down, I believe Agatha and Cadwin were looking at a really odd door blocking the way to the right. We went to the left, Cypher and Honorian, and Cypher was actually able to put her roguey skills to use, picked a lock, and we opened that up and proceeded down to a little, well, no, up to a little observation post, for lack of a better word, and there was a drow inside. And Honorian and Grizzleton met this individual, tried to talk our way out of it. He got spooked, ran for it. Combat broke out. A spider had, revealed itself, so it spooked the drow. We went running after it. Had to silence this threat before he could raise the alarm. He raised the alarm, so yeah, we had a pretty gnarly combat. He ran down a little hallway, stood by another door, shouted. We did our thing, beat him up pretty bad, and then we made entry. Martova waded in first, and then Honorian and Grizzleton and Caedwin, I believe, as well, waded in. It was a pretty decent little fight there with these drow, for lack of a better word, drow warriors. And Cypher at one point stepped up and made a call out to the leader of this particular pack, and hostilities ceased whenever she made mention that maybe we shouldn't be fighting, maybe we can still talk it out. So he collected us, and we went to this drow outpost, miniature city, to meet with the leader, this Belcora, who we later found out. They stripped us of our weapons, and Caedwin remained behind. Dwarf, enough said, clan daggers are very, very special things to dwarves, so he was unwilling to part with it, so he stayed behind. Cypher and Honorian pursued on, and I met with Cora. She asked a bunch of questions, and told us she would deliberate on this, and gave us quarters to spend the night, to rest and recover in. We linked back up with Caedwin, and pretty much where we're at. We're all kind of bunked down for the night and getting ready to see how this is going to go.
Until you're summoned once again to that chamber, that common area.
Yes, sir.
So, the whole evening passes. In these little overflow chambers, what they refer to them as. They have more visitors or people passing through here. It is an outpost. Along this hallway here, you see multiple doors. There's obviously multiple rooms in here, some of which seem like they're occupied. You can hear footfalls outside and doors shutting. But your chambers, you're all good. 2 beds per room. Got Honorian and his buddy Grizzleton hanging out in one room. Agatha, who was in shadow mode last week, she's in the shadows. She's there. She's seen it all. She had to leave the session early, I think, actually. But she's with us tonight, of course, along with Cypher. And your evening passes without incident. None of you seem too interested in sneaking off and looking at things and searching around. So we'll assume you had a good sleep. Rested up. Got some healing there. New spells prepared, which will take about an extra hour or so to do in the morning, which you did. And everybody, I should update my thing here. Everybody is now level 9.
Woohoo!
Yeah, baby.
Change that to 9. And of course we took care of that outside of the session here before we were live. So everybody's level 9, pretty cool. Access to 5th level spells, new feats, skill increases, that sort of thing. Some class features, of course, opening up. Level 9's a big deal. And let's see how the players utilize those new abilities. We'll see. Now, going to refer to this level as the drow level. Directly above you was what we referred to as the farm. That was the level with the elevator leading down at the big pond. An encounter with Belcora, Galignes and all that, cults. So, you still have some stuff stashed up there. Now, the way to get up there is totally up to you as players if you know the direction and where to go, or if you ask around, or maybe you can get led back up there if you want to go back up there. And the only reason I bring this up is you might have some stuff still stored up there. I don't know if you do. I didn't look. Because you did have a safe from there. So keep that in mind. I'll have to double check if you left anything.
I don't think we left a whole lot if we did.
I don't think we did either.
Well, it's somewhat easily accessible. You would think, if you wanted to. But that's beside the point. You're deeper underground now, in what seems to be an outpost of dark elves. You've met with the leader of this outpost, someone by the name of Quora. Someone was actually the relative of another drow you encountered on some of the upper levels, who you saved from certain death. An individual named Falxy. You saved his life. And you actually, coming down here now, you've actually met him. He's still alive. Very thankful for saving his life. And he's actually the cousin of Quora, the leader of this outpost, who was also thankful, getting him out of trouble. So there is that. You've got a little good footing in here with these drow, which is pretty good. They don't seem to be too friendly with Belcora. You had this meeting with the leader, unarmed, of course, and some of her cohorts, and she asked a few questions and listened intently at your stories, asking further questions whenever something came up, like what did you do then? What was behind there? What happened here? Was it Belcora? She took a great interest in those things, and she listened intently, gauging whether or not an alliance could be struck between her and you guys. She decided to call the meeting at that stage and said, I'll think about this because you've given me much to think about. She seemed very interested in the lenses. You also learned that... Look, what else did you learn, Kyle? Do you remember? Any specifics from that meeting?
Well, she asked about the lenses, artifacts that we had found. We learned that she is not a fan of Belcora. Yes, she is not a fan. Don't think anything else.
Let me go over my notes. Well, let's see what's next. You've awoken in your chambers. Agatha, Cypher, you're in one chamber. Honorian, you find yourself alone with your bear. You know your friends are in the opposite side of the hallway here. I'll assume you've all gathered yourselves together in one of these rooms. What do you do?
Well, at the very least, we are well rested. Now we just have to wait for the summons, I believe. How do we want to proceed with this?
That is a very good question. I hadn't thought that far ahead.
Indeed, I think we need to before this butler comes back around, and then we have to go and do this for real. Should we rely on diplomacy or deception?
Which one do you think would be more wise?
Even I'll have to admit, perhaps diplomacy would be the best in this case. Should they see through any lies, I'd rather not deal with those consequences. Let's try to talk it out. Perhaps whatever they offer would be much like a quid pro quo.
Indeed, but there's another matter that we have to discuss. All of us have no weapons. We have no choice but to use diplomacy. Take whatever deal they offer to get them back. Once we have our weapons, then they're not so much of an issue. And until then, we need to be careful.
Cypher just looks at Agatha and look, I'm sure he's speaking for himself. We've never truly needed arms anyways.
Agatha looks at Cypher. Speak for yourself. I use that staff for a lot of things.
Well, it just sounds like the two of you are in what some would call a pickle. But nonetheless, this is our property. We should get it back. I don't think that they would keep it any longer than they need to. This is, as they've said, I trust what they've said, that this is just a formality. I'm sure as soon as we leave, all of our things will be waiting for us. If not, we'll go break down some doors to get it back.
Indeed, and you might trust their words, Cypher, but I don't. I don't trust anything until I see it in action. There's something odd about this Cora. Did you notice it? She seems to be more interested in what we've done than the people themselves.
Maybe there's something personal about it.
I think we need to press there, see if we can.
I'm sure you'll be able to find the words when we see her next time.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh no, you are going to assist, Bard. Perhaps you can spin her a tale of our recent exploits. Might help the cause.
Agatha can't help but smirk a little.
Cypher's like, yeah, oh, I'll tell her the tales, you know, the truth.
Good. Let's not be hasty and no heroics, he says, kind of just nonchalantly. Now that's out of the way, I suppose we're ready to go be summoned.
And you wait for what seems like another couple hours, forward the time, keeping yourselves in your rooms, before you hear a knock on the door. Or doors. Cora summons you for a meeting. She wishes to speak with you once again, if you will follow me, says this drow.
Suppose we have little choice in the matter. Lead on.
Gather your things and follow. Hospitality of the Dark Elves. And you make your way out into the hallway past all the doors. Familiar turf. I guess that door was open already. And you're led out into that meeting chamber once again, where they are gathered. And as you draw close to the fire, finally you have joined me once again. You see, she steps forward close to the fire. You see you're not alone in this chamber. You see the similar faces you saw once before, including a number of armed drow guards and servants. In the shadows, you see these two individuals. You recognize them. They were in the first meeting. They were these twins.
Lovely.
And they lurk over here in the shadows. You see the center fire is blazing away. You see next to the anvil, you see some implements you saw once before, including a crossbow and some other little things. After some niceties, one of the servants comes in with more drinks. Perhaps you are hungry. I'm not sure you had your breakfast, but we can provide you. You see more fungus-based foods come your way, which is actually quite delightful, if you remember. Now, I've had time to think and ponder what you've said to me, and I believe you're being truthful with me. So I'm going to be truthful with you. Yaldaris, that's the name of this outpost. Yaldaris only exists at Belcora's pleasure. It was here when she first created her vast dungeons. At the time, my grandfather was the leader. Belcora made allies of several groups, including us, the Drow, the Udurfans to the west, who I believe you've encountered based on your descriptions of earlier events.
Indeed.
And the deep gnomes as well, the ones who dwell above, who've embraced undeath for some strange reason. To each she gave a large magical lens with strange powers. For safekeeping, I believe. Ours was the ochre fulcrum lens, and it could manipulate emotions. But there was more to these lenses. My grandfather told my father, Larathals, who became Yaldis's leader after him. But my father never told me. I was never meant to lead. My older sister, who succeeded my father, she led. They both embarked on a secret expedition to the northwest of here, I believe, a few years ago. On an island in some great lake, the Udurfan warlord, Kerfell, caught and killed them. And she begins to get sinister here, and you can see her fists tighten and clench as she mentions this Kerfell, this Udurfan warlord. Their expedition had something to do with the lenses, I believe, and I suspect my father had it with him. Perhaps he hid it someplace. I do not know. Perhaps Kerfell took it. I don't know. But the lens is gone. Belcora came to me as a ghost shortly afterward. She insisted, I swear, Darcis's support and aid in the surface invasion that drives her even in death. For the good of Darius, I renewed the vows my grandfather made, but I've never felt bound by mere words. I won't help her. I'll help you. You're welcome here in Darius as long as you'd like.
Thank you, Lady Cora. But what would you require of us?
She pauses. And her hand goes to her chin. And she looks towards you, Anurian. Yes. I wasn't going to ask for anything. For you seem to stand against Belcora, and I will not serve her. However, and you see her eyes begin to go down and kind of get sinister looking at this point. I would like vengeance from my father. Yes. Perhaps you can slay Kerfell.
Do you know where this Kerfell or these Olafons, apologies, I'm not familiar with the vernacular down here. Do you know where they reside?
Yes, I do. And it is a dangerous landscape.
I have no doubt.
We can give you directions to that place. However, if you do manage to slay him, this warlord, surely bring back his sword.
And what can Yoldaris offer us as our allies in this area? Surely you can offer more than just a warm bed in the middle of the night.
Sorry, Kyle, what was that?
Basically, he's asking her what else can she provide outside of just a place to rest.
You can pass through here unheeded. You're welcome to stay, as long as you'd like. In fact, especially if you are successful at defeating this warlord who slew my father, I would be even more welcome to you. But we are willing to trade with you. If you're in need of something, perhaps we can provide it. Weapons. This very forge that is before us, in fact, you are welcome to utilize. Perhaps you have some crafting skills or things you would like to craft. You are welcome to it. If you need a place to stay, the rooms are also open to you as well.
Norian will kind of dip his head down slightly. My thanks, Lady Cora. Most generous in your terms. But I beg you, me and my companions have a moment to discuss this term.
And just then, as you say these words, suddenly you hear the voices from the other side of the room. The twins move forward, slightly, so you could barely see them. They're to the west of the chamber. "There is more," one of the twins says. They move their mouths in unison, making it hard to tell which one is speaking. They go on. "There is more you should know. This plainly piques Cora's interest. She too turns. And she motions for the brothers to continue speaking. The ochre lens lies in a dark and wet place. The ochre lens, of course, was the lens entrusted to the drow to protect the lens that has been lost. Kerfell didn't claim it. Lerithals dropped it in the water to deny it to his enemy. That's the father of Cora. He died attempting to learn more of its purposes, more than the partial truth we know. We have seen in a vision that the stones both empower the Ghost Queen and also hold the key to her demise. They are slivers of something ancient, alien, evil, and hungry. The other twin continues. We saw eyes of empty death, they cry in unison. She separated the lenses because together they draw the baleful attention of the empty death.
Ah, finally, a weapon that we can use to defeat her. Norian looks to Cypher and Agatha.
The empty death, of course, is the name of that god.
Nimbaloth.
Nimbaloth, who Belcora worshipped. The empty death. Even the Ghost Queen cannot withstand the empty death when their powers are joined within her. The secrets to the lenses are in the old treasure vault which overlooks the lake. Find the lenses and the answers Lerithal sought. And they both back up against the wall.
How strange. I thought at first they didn't have much to offer the conversation. Turns out they've given us the key piece to the puzzle.
Well, I'm glad they spoke out when they did.
Chorus chimes in. I would say you get used to Barzada and Clathor, referring to the twins, but one never does. Let me assure you, however, that when they do speak, it is important. This is all news to me, but when their words benefit Doris, they will benefit you as well.
You have
How
my
many-
thanks, then.
Yes, and mine too. But all of this has opened up so many more questions. How many lenses exist?
There are 3. 1, I don't know if you told them that you actually have one. One
We
was held.
haven't.
One was held by the gnomes, the undead gnomes. That's the one you retrieved. The drow had one, but they lost it years ago. Her father and sister were both slain, she explains. And they had the lens. And then the twins described kind of what might have happened with that lens. The third lens is held by those creepy dudes, Uderfan. And she asked you to actually slay their leader for revenge. But evidently they have a lens as well. So you make of that what you want, but one thing I'll remind you of is that those lenses, you have one of them. Looking at them and studying them and deciphering them, you have revealed that these items, these magical lenses, do actually benefit the user, the holder of the item. You do gain some abilities with it, and I believe I fully revealed that to you You do have the one lens. So
Yes.
these are
Yeah.
powerful items. And evidently they hold the key to not only, well, the key to defeating Belcora.
Honorian will turn to Cypher and Agatha. Seems we have our work cut out for us. We have to go destroy a bunch of Urafons, and I think that's how they are pronounced. You can correct my vernacular at any point, Lady Cora. And then we have to go diving into a lake.
So, feel free to talk amongst yourselves. My time is limited, however.
Cora, knowing what you know now about your father, do you still want to see that opposing people perish? I just had the guy's name out. Perfel?
Yeah. You can see the sinisterness of the dark elves come through when she says this. She would savor vengeance to see him slain, and his sword brought back as a trophy, as a reward. She would be greatly indebted to you, even more so, if you did that. Besides, it would benefit you greatly if he was destroyed.
For now, I guess I'll have to take your word for it. And then Cypher will turn to the other two, Honorian and Agatha. Alright, so just what you've asked, Honorian. Do you guys want to go for a swim? Or go bathe ourselves in Kerfel's blood?
Bell seems to be the more immediate target.
Yes, we've already encountered one thing lurking in the water. I don't think the two of you are ready for that quite yet.
No, we are not. Lady Cora, if I might say one more thing before you depart.
What?
We'll need our weapons and armor returned immediately.
Of course. Of course, you shall have them. And she motions over to one of the guards along the walls to fetch your weapons and bring them here. And he disappears out the door. So, you have access to this chamber. This is a forge. You can actually use it for crafting. They do offer you food and a place to stay. Those rooms would be fine if you need them. Your weapons are back. They also offer you trade items. If there's something that you need to buy, they have access to it up to level 7. Some things might be harder to get, which might take time to retrieve. So in other words, this would be kind of like a mini Otari for you. So think of it that way. It's even better than a safe house. You've got an ally here, deep underground. They can give you directions based on where you want to go. They can help you to do just that. Which you would be traveling to the northwest of here. They'll describe how to get there safely and what to expect if you want to do that. Alright, so if you want to get up to the level above, it's basically the way you came. Which they will show you how to get back out of here. So you have all that. So, with all that information and knowledge, and being welcomed here in Daris, we'll call it Daris, what would you like to do?
Yeah, as they bring our weapons back and Norian straps up and puts on his weaponry, he'll look between the two of them. Should we at least go take a look and see where these Orofons, see just what that area is about?
Sure, I don't mind. We could also take a look around here.
Purchase some supplies.
Maybe they won't mind us just poking about.
Perhaps, perhaps not.
You kind of notice, Cypher, that they kind of frown at you in your direction, knowing that you're an elf. They can sense it.
Hey, if anything, Cypher feels a connection with these people.
So, let me see here. Look at my note in terms of buying stuff. Let's see. So yeah, you do have access to this forge. There's some things here you might want to use. You're welcome to them. Traders can sell them any common items up to 7th level, including alchemical items, gear, and weapons. Alright. Up to level 7. Items they don't have on hand require a week or so to fetch. You get the gist that this outpost is actually connected to the Darklands. In fact, they will mention this. There are some caves here that will take you to the Darklands themselves. So, as far as an outpost is concerned, this would be an outpost of the Darklands, where the Dark Elves dwell in earnest. So that's how they have access to things. So yeah. So if you need to buy or shop anything, same prices, all that stuff, you could barter, whatever you do in Otara, you could do here, up to level 7 in terms of gear. And you have access to the forge for crafting purposes. And on the forge too, there are some items here. I should give you a new little treasure chest, so you can actually keep track of things. Treasure chest.
Yeah, Noreen will actually look to Cypher. Good, a perfect chance to empty out your bag and get rid of all that cat hair that's in there that you falsely accused Grizzleton of doing.
I simply don't know what you're talking about.
I
Agatha's
believe you
just-
owe him an apology.
Agatha's just sitting back watching them.
Grizzleton's just sitting there. He don't care. But in any event, perhaps we should gather us up some supplies and then head to these Europhones. What does everybody think?
This sounds like a plan.
Very well. Meet back here in an hour.
Yes, an hour sounds good. But in seriousness, did you need anything from me, like from my bag?
What do you have on hand?
Well, I have just about everything on hand, including a hand. Literally,
Right.
I have Hand of the Mage. She pulls out a literal hand.
Right.
To refresh your memories, in my bag I have the Gloom Blade, a Demon Glaive, and then she like pantomimes the lens. She doesn't actually say it, but lens. A smoke ball, a regular long sword, poison. I have that hair rope, a mist form elixir. I have cold iron chunk and adamantine chunk. I don't know if you, or in silver chunk, if you were thinking of crafting anything. We've got crafting materials here.
Yeah, Honorian's not a crafter.
Sitting on the workbench there, you do find a superb repair kit. I'm going to drag that to your treasure chest. And a repeating crossbow magazine. So you now have access to those.
I've got the Red Dragon's Breath potion, mutagen, Hand of the Mage, some bottled lightning, acid flask, valuable candles. If you want to sell anything, there's a light hammer, a breastplate, alchemist lab. There's a superb repair kit here. And then that's about it. Because the other stuff is mine, and that's the thieves' tools and the rapier and my bedroll and stuff like that.
I mean, that's up to you if you wanted to sell any of that. I mean, I don't really need anything from that list.
Did we want to sell?
I'd say keep the potions and like these.
Well, we can sell the candles.
Mhm.
I also have a very valuable game board, which isn't in my bag for some reason, but it's negligible bulk, so it's in my treasures. But it's a fairly valuable game board despite being incomplete. But it has a bunch of precious stones inlaid in it.
Okay.
That would fetch us a good chunk.
They would, yeah. Yeah, because that was rather expensive, wasn't it?
I recall that game board being a rather expensive one, yes. Yeah, and the candles. That would between the candles and the game board, that's 130. Not exactly what we'd get back, but that's just the listed value total. Just those two things.
Damn, that's pretty good.
All right. So Cypher will just talk to whomever looks like they're willing to do any sort of trading. Because then she'll try to find somebody to sell some items to.
No problem. Just tell me what you're getting. Chances are you can get it. Any common items up to level 7. There's quite a few drow down here, and a lot of passers-by. There is travelers from the Darklands, in fact, that travel through here. Merchants who actually drop off stuff for the outpost. So you do have access to buyers easily. What's your bartering score? What would you use? Deceive, diplomacy, what are you going to use? Because I have a DC.
I just don't want to get caught lying. You know, we'll do some deception. So my result would be 30.
That's more than enough. Yeah, you could be successful at that. So what are you trying to do? Get a little extra coin out of it? Like, I'll give you a certain percentage and we'll roll a die and see how much you can get out of it, because your score is enough.
Yeah, well, she'll be talking up stories and how they've acquired these certain items. And
I see.
yes, these bits of quartz came from this crown from the king so and so.
Intriguing.
Yes, I don't want to part with it, but
Of course not. Of
you
course
know,
not.
if we're to survive, we have to let go of some valuable items. You understand, of course.
I see. I see. Well, I am greatly interested. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a little extra more on the top. It's hard to afford around here, but I don't know. This is good stuff. So, what are you asking?
I don't want to be greedy, but
Too late.
maybe. Did you guys have any suggestions?
Full price. And
Yeah, get some full price on these treasures.
Yeah.
And,
All right. What are you selling? What's the total cost?
let me do
Minimum.
so. Let me just add everything up if that makes it easier.
I hear a calculator.
You sure do.
Just give me the total. I'll have you roll a dice based on a little table here inside the skills section.
The total is 169. So that's the price as it appears on Foundry for value.
Okay, make your bartering roll, whatever skill that is. I've got the DC. I'm going to make you roll this time. This will determine not if you're successful, but how much.
The degree of which. All right. You want it blind?
Yeah.
And did you want deception or diplomacy?
Whichever one you want to use.
Oh well, I think we both know.
Let's reveal it. 35.
Ooh.
That is critical success. So what was the total value? 169?
Yes, 169.
And that's the minimum, right?
Yeah, that's just the value of everything added up.
All right, I'm going to give you a nice cool 300.
So you will not be sorry with this purchase.
Oh, damn payday.
Thank you very much. Ah, suckers.
Alright, so she's carrying away this hefty sack of coins and quickly just distributes. I'll say,
We'll assume this was a number of different transactions, not all at once, but it makes more sense.
wow,
This is
this
your
one
total.
guy was really coming to buy certain things here. Okay, so I would like to give at least 75 to Honorian and 75 to Agatha. This is gold.
Okay. Shit, that opens things up for me. Hot day.
Yeah, and then just remind me later to give 25 gold to Jesse when he gets online, and 25 gold to some of the other people, like Ted and Fred and stuff like that. This way we can kind of evenly distribute, or just because they weren't here doesn't mean they shouldn't get anything. And this is Rachel talking, not Cypher talking.
Right, I was gonna be like, wait a minute, did you kind of have a change of heart here, sir?
Well, remember, she's not so much interested in money as she is cool things. Little treasures that have interesting effects.
Glory.
Agatha literally looks at the gold pieces and she goes, "What am I supposed to do with all this?"
Buy
Spend it.
yourself something nice.
I guess that goes back to digging through her stuff. She realizes, wait, I still got no more semi-preciouses to sell.
You can either do it now or save it for later.
Do it now so I can get it over with.
Yes, they have precious items. Look inside the bag she carries. The magical bag. How much for the bag, elf?
The ordinary bag is not for sale. It has sentimental value.
That's no ordinary bag. I can see it's one of those magical ones.
And what would you have use for such magical bag?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know? I'll give you 50 gold pieces.
That's not nearly enough.
Swindler you are. I like you.
You should talk to her when she's drunk.
I like your staff. What is that, witch? Does it have powers? And he's looking at this knobby staff that you carry around with you.
Agatha would look at the... She would look at him curiously, look back at the staff, look back at the, look back at them and go, what power goes to the staff comes from me, so the staff is pretty much ordinary and has no value, unfortunately.
Yes, it is valueless. I'll give you a copper piece for it. What say you?
Honorian chuckles loudly.
Agatha would shake her head. Unfortunately, it is a family heirloom I can't pass on.
I will give you 200 gold for it.
Oh, they always fall for such theatrics.
200 gold. Take it or leave it. I'm sure you have no use for such a knobby little stick that's so useless. 200 gold. I could use it in my room. It would make a good ornament.
Agatha would shake her head and go, I can't give it up.
Bah! You're lost, then. And he turns away in disgust. Witch.
Agatha would look like she's getting ready to kill somebody.
Honorian chuckles as he finishes tightening up Grizzleton's barding. That's a good boy.
Yeah, he's got some barding on him. He kind of fashioned it like you would on a large war dog.
Exactly, yeah.
He looks a little bit annoyed, though. Taking getting used to. He's walking around like he's bow-legged.
Agatha would go back, dig through her bag, look at a particular item, look at the person that walked away, look back at the bag, go, wait, I might have something you might like.
Desperate much?
Honorian, shut up.
I have no coins left. What do you have? Hurry, I'm leaving.
She reaches into her bag and pulls out a large amethyst.
Oh. Let me take it.
She goes, I'm not looking for coin, I'm looking for like elixirs and stuff. Would you happen to have any?
I'm not the one to carry elixirs, but I'm sure you can find them around here. I can offer you coin to pay for such. I like this. Throw in the staff, and I will give you 230.
Without the staff?
With the staff.
What happens if I just give you the amethyst and not the staff?
No deal.
Should shrug and put the amethyst back and just be like, okay, you're a loss.
I'm out of here. He stomps off.
Amethyst, Agatha looks back at Nori and goes, You really need to learn not to irritate people.
Well, I irritate you. I don't seem to be irritating them. Major difference.
Yeah, so I'm imagining we've kind of split off, and then we're all
Yeah.
just browsing and talking amongst the people.
Yeah, pretty much.
To the east, of this chamber is a cooking room. It's like a kitchen. They prepare food, fungus foods, wines, everything you could ever want. It's also from here you might see someone who's interested in cooking type utensils or foods or rare things you might have. Alright, so that's what's over there. To the west is described chambers for sleeping and resting. Sleeping quarters. Not necessarily for guests. What is this? Servants' quarters and that sort of thing. To the south, you see some double doors. I'll move you down there, Agatha. You can't see anything anyway. Light up a torch. There's double doors in the south. That's been described as a worship area for those so inclined. A place of meditation. It's there that those twins like to perform their rituals. And of course to the north, which you've explored, is more bedrooms and alcoves, meeting areas. There's a large mess hall area, which is like a little miniature tavern where folks can gather and make deals. There's also a place to practice shooting, your shooting skills. What's this? There's a common area, which is accessible through the kitchen or up towards your sleeping quarters where you were sleeping. If you continued to head south, you'd enter a large common area. It's about as big as this chamber here, but there's more tables and places to serve. I imagine this is the place you would be when it comes to bargaining and meeting folks who would be interested in some of the things you're offering. Travelers would go here. Merchants would pass through here.
Yeah, and that's where we'd be then.
You've been allowed access to these common areas as well as those bed chambers. If you'd like to continue sleeping there, you're welcome there. There's no need for you to go into the kitchens or the servants' quarters, which you've been pointed out. That's what those rooms are. So if you have any questions, where's the servants' quarters? I want to sneak around. Just let me know. But you have no reason to be there otherwise. As far as your plans and goals, if you'd like to head towards where this warlord guy is, if you want to go tracking them down and kill their warlord, they do have a lens. You'd have to head to the southwest, and they could show you the way there, but it's very dangerous. All right, so to the southwest of here, there is a lot of natural caves that are just full of fungus and glowing toadstools, things of that nature. Very dangerous. There's all kinds of creatures that live in those areas. It's like the wildlands down here. And the drow don't typically go in that direction. In fact, they treat it like a buffer zone between them and these other guys that with the warlord. Where is their frickin' name? Erdefans or something. Where they dwell. They're not in good terms with these guys, obviously. But that's the direction you'd go, and they'd show you the direction, how to get there. It's to the south, or the northwest. There are passages where you could easily get lost within that lead to the Darklands themselves. And there's a number of those caverns available that the Drow know of, as they're traveled by those coming and leaving to the Darklands. If you got a map of Galarian, you'd know what I'm talking about when I say the Darklands.
Yeah. After an hour or so, Norian would kind of return to the meetup spot where he'd wait for the others, him and Grizzleton.
Agatha would she'd look over the jewelry, and her eyes would catch a particular necklace, though a lot of people really wouldn't care too much about it. To her, it would have a significant meaning.
So you're asking around about it?
Yeah.
One of the twins, while you're exploring around to the south, I've brought your token in.
Okay.
You find yourself in this large, glowing room. No need for your torch. Can you see in there? You should be.
Yeah, I can see in her.
You speak of the moon silver necklace, I see. I have held one of those at one point. We use them in rituals. You're welcome to join us, you know. But unfortunately, I do not know where you can find one so easy now.
So, this is an uncommon magic item that you speak of. Something you'd probably be knowledgeable of. Wish you had.
Mm-hmm.
They're quite expensive. Would aid you in your rituals. You could always make one, of course, as well, but that's crafting in a whole new level for you.
Mm-hmm.
But such a find would be a good one indeed.
But I will tell you, if word comes of such a necklace once again, I will let you know. And perhaps
he can help you.
If you can aid me in finding such a necklace, it would mean a great deal to me.
I shall look into it. I will be in touch with you.
So make a note. Now,
Agatha would have reached into her bag, pulled out the amethyst stone, go, would you have anything, would you have use for this?
amethyst stone? Now you're trying to ditch it off on him?
Well, she's trying to see if maybe there's like something can be done to the amethyst stone, like maybe imbue it with something, or perhaps it could be used as a crafting item, maybe, or something of that sort.
Do you want to sell it to him?
If he has use for it, yeah.
Why, yes, I will gladly take this from you. I'll give you 20 gold.
But yeah, sure, he takes it from me, no problem. Gives you some gold. You want to hang out in this chamber more?
Yeah, she'd hang out for a little bit longer to look around and see what she can find.
This massive cavern is stunning, Agatha. Among its grey stones, cut veins and growths of crystals, in lustrous shades of pearl, white, dark purple, glimmering blue, and brilliant scarlet. At the center of the chamber waits a shallow pool, its bottom and sides made of the same glittering crystals. The chamber is the closest thing that the outpost has to a temple, though few drow from this outpost are religious. The two twins perform their rituals here, however, and they welcome you into this chamber anytime you would like to contact them or join them in some rituals. Although these two twins are quite unnerving, even for you. You rejoin your friends. Some of the drow are playing around with the Grizzleton, kind of poking him and prodding him to see how he reacts to an attack. Training him in a way, Anorian. Although they are annoying as well because they're kind of poking your bear. But maybe it's for his better. Maybe he'll learn some quick dodging techniques from these drow, nimble as they are.
Yeah, Honorian watches closely, but he's taking the time as well. He'll have his book out, and he'll be kind of grilling these creatures about, these drow, about what creatures lurk in this buffer zone, and the best passage through, and, kind of very detailed information, kind of very detailed question.
To explore these areas, you'll have to head through a secret door, a secret chamber that leads. It's in the southwest, actually. This chamber. It leads to where you're looking to go. They give you instructions on how to get there and how to pass through. Now, some of the drow actually keep some of their lizard mounts, riding lizards we'll call them, in these places close by to the enclave itself, so they're not way out there where you guys are going. But all this wild area is just full of glowing crystals and funguses and stuff, and the type of creatures are quite sinister that live in these areas the deeper out there you go. You'll have to be mindful of the lizards, the riding lizards. Of course, there are mounts, but they will bite.
No.
And he also warns about some other strange things that we'll get into as you approach or make this journey. Strange floating puffballs. Funguses that are like explosive when you step on them. Poison fills the air. Some say there's demons as well. Those accursed Uderfan. I can't even pronounce that, but that's what they are. Of course, the drow are known to serve demons as well, so.
Yes, these Orothon are what we intend to engage. Your lady and leader has requested that we deal with said problem.
Yeah. So they'll easily give you a scout to head in that direction. When you're ready to make this journey. Let me see. So yeah, on the outskirts of this enclave, you're gonna find some of the riding lizards that are living in the more wilder areas, right? Close to the enclave, because they use them as riding. But beyond that, as you push deeper and get away from the enclave, that's when things get more dangerous, is essentially what he's saying. And as you follow the caves, they'll turn north. And as you follow them, that leads to some darker, bigger areas.
that the drow haven't really fully explored. At least the ones you talk to haven't fully explored. But it's in that direction, somewhere up there, that you will find the Udrafan and their warlord and their little encampment, or whatever it's called, and much more. Now, the drow spoke of a big lake.
Yeah, Honorian will actually take the time and kind of ask him very detailed about, how do we get there? He'll look up to the one of the drow that speaks. What kind of creatures dwell by the lake? Are there serpents, any sentient creatures?
Oh, there's all kinds of creatures, but the drow don't go up here. They don't know exactly what lies ahead. They couldn't give you that kind of detail. Just that it's very dangerous. There are some nasty creatures there, as well as the Uderfan. You'll just have to explore. But
Yeah.
it's up there that they described. That's where her father and sister went and were slain, and their lens that was under their control was lost. So that's the guess. The lake has to be up there in that direction. That's all they know.
Well, a little information is better than no information. I thank you kindly.
Okay. We're going to take a break. You guys can keep on working on the shop, but I'm going to take a break for about 5-10 minutes, and then we'll get back with part 2. So think about what your next move is once your shopping is done. And if you'd like to head off in that direction and see what lies ahead, we can do so. And that's when I'll give you a little bit more details on what the scouts tell you, Kyle.
Yeah, 'cause I'm getting intrigued now.
Okay, folks, we'll be right back. Intermission time. Be right back. All right, here we are, part 2. Companions are getting to know the layout of this little enclave of drow. They seem to be friendly enough. Maybe it's because they know they have a common enemy. Perhaps. You do know that they don't want to serve Belcora for whatever reason. They're after their lens. They'd like to know where it is. They know it holds the secret to defeating Belcora. But the drow don't want to have anything to do with it. So the companions are selling some goods, buying some equipment, getting to know around this place. They've got a place to put their heads to rest, relax, do a little training, downtime underground here in the drow enclave. And when they're ready, they're going to gather themselves, their weapons, their new equipment, and they're going to try and hunt down these lenses, of which there's at least 2 more, probably 2 more, period. They've got 1, but there's 2 more. And it could be of great aid, might even be essential to defeating Belcora. They also have the option of defeating the Erdefan warlord, taking his sword as a prize that will be used as a trophy by the drow leader here. A little extra chutzpah for them. I mean, they have to retrieve the lens that they have, so they're probably going to end up having to kill him anyway, so why not? Let's take his head and his sword, if that's possible. So when you guys are ready and gathered, we should move on.
Yeah, Honorian straps his new shield on and pulls out the warhammer. He's ready to rumble.
Safe journeys, my friends.
This from a drow.
And you've got one drow who goes along with you, has been instructed to show you the way, the direction towards the Udafan, as well as the lake. Of course, here's where you met the previous drow that were watching your stuff, including Foxy, who you rescued.
Good luck, my friends.
Same to you.
You see these little guard outposts now.
To the north lies whence you came. That is the level above, where those gnomes dwell. But I think you're more interested in the south. That's more interest, I think. Come, you will follow me. And it leads you down this very narrow, rough-hewn corridor, at the end of which looks like a dead end. What chicanery is this, you think to yourself?
Anyone who's an expert in survival and anyone who's casting detect magic will see this right away, that this wall, this dead end, is actually a magic portal. You can see tracks, if you're using survival, that lead right up to this solid wall, but the drow moves up to it. And towards the side, he reaches towards what looks like some invisible panel that he begins to touch and manipulate, speaking in words of Elven. There's a slight pulse. And the door pushes open easily.
Ah, a secret door.
Clever.
Okay, I'm going to change the token to this one. Okay, so you're inside the chamber now.
Oh, wow.
Now, as you enter this chamber, the ceiling of the cavern sports many crystal growths, stalactites. A pattering drizzle drips from these formations, and paths wind through thick fungus growing on the ground before you. You also see, gathered towards the center of this chamber, these large lizards that seem to be kicking their way around amongst the fungus. They don't seem to really pay attention to you, but they are moving about, almost as if they were grazing.
Those are our mounts. Be cautious and careful around them. They will bite you. But more importantly, to the east, or to the west, sorry. My bad. It is here that I will have to leave you. I recommend you stay to the north of this chamber, along this wall. Do not go further south. Such a path leads to the Darklands, but there is a strange creature that dwells there, not far from us now. You could just make it out, in fact. Look. And you can see that there looks like right down here where I'm pinging, right along there and beyond, deeper into the darkness, there seems to be a borderline of mist. A vapor. Like a wall. There is a strange demonic creature that dwells in there. I recommend you avoid it at all costs. The rest of your journey will be to the north. You will see many stones and fungus and glowing rocks like this.
and strange creatures lie in wait. Be cautious. Somewhere you will find a lake. And you will also find a path that takes you to the Urfan. Do you have any questions?
Stick to the wall. We'll come across one or the other. Thank you for your time.
And with that, I will leave you. And he dashes off behind you, back up towards the secret door. He takes one last look at you and the lizards that they ride and disappears. The door shuts. So, good luck getting back. But anyway, there you go. Now, just as a little meta talk here again, if there's, because we've got people in shadow mode going to join us, and you might not, we'll assume they're with you right now, but just not actively participating. So, Jesse comes in with characters, we'll make sense of it.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we got this.
Alright, so you're in this in-between area. Behind you is these lizards grazing or whatever. Directly in front of you to the south there is this mist and eeriness about the room. And to the north, or to the northwest, you see where the tunnel leads and disappears off to the north, according to him, and that's the direction you want to explore. That's where you may find the lake, as well as the Udrafan. Udrafan.
Don't feel bad. I haven't pronounced it right all night either.
Ugh, these names, I'm telling you.
Yeah, but Honorian will look to Agatha and Cypher. Well, let's be about it. Go slow and steady. He'll kind of head off.
Cypher, I have you under occult investigation. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Agatha, you're searching.
Mm-hmm.
And Arian, you're defending.
Can I switch to scouting to the front?
No, you can't.
Okay, sounds good.
Scouting to the front. Scout front. Grizzleton at your side. Okay. So it's
Okay.
the four of you. Marching order is Enorian and Grizzleton, followed by Cypher, followed by Agatha. And anyone in shadow mode. Well, they're not really there. Okay, so you can explore back where the lizards were and explore more there, or put your faith in the drow and continue moving to the west.
Yeah, I'll begin to head to the west, sticking close to the wall per the recommendation.
The fungus growth thins in this cavern, Enorian, giving way to barren rock and rubble. Amid the dull grey stone, strange clouds of thick grayish-black fog hug the ground to the south. You can just make it out. Agatha, you feel the presence of darkness and evil coming from the south. As you clamber over these rocks, almost stumbling, you can tell if this continues on, it's going to slow your pace considerably. This is where you are right now. Do you continue to the north? You can just faintly see a wide mouth of a cavern opening up and heading to the north.
Yeah, Honorian will proceed.
Very well. You can kind of see where we are here. I'll move you over here just to get a glimpse of what's on that right side. Okay. Now, let's see. There's a button here. I can click this. Let me see if this takes me there.
it's new. Alright, let me just go to the new map. And I'll bring you guys there. In fact, I should just activate it. As you begin to move up this one cavern, you're on the left side. I showed you the right. Fungus grows wild and tall throughout this enormous cavern, sometimes reaching as high as 30 feet. The cavern's ceiling, when visible through the fungal canopy, is higher still. How do you want to proceed?
Well, Honorian will kind of stick to the open spots that he can walk to without disturbing any of the flora or fauna.
As you advance forward in what looks like a pathway, free of all these large stones and these fungal things that rise up, there you see something is moving. It's directly in front of you, maybe 40 feet away. And Orion, you see it. I'll arrange your marching order in a second. But there, directly ahead, you see what is moving towards you. It looks like a giant balloon of sorts, if there is such a thing in a world like this. It's floating and it's hovering and it's coming your way. It senses your movement. All right, let me get that out of the way. As suddenly these creatures begin advancing towards you through the fungus. They've noticed your movement. They can see your bright light as you cut through the cavern. Norian, I'm going to put you there. I'm not going to put you one behind the other. So you're going to look like this. There. That good?
Looks good to me.
Alright. We're going to roll initiative. You're all going to get a +1 because it's an encounter to the front. And again, Cypher, you can use your occult if you want for initiative. I don't think it really matters. Let's make sure everybody's in there.
Yeah.
So give yourselves a +1 to initiative.
Nope.
If not, I can change it for you.
Please and thank you.
Okay, we all good?
Yep.
The courteous Reaper Skull, Puffball, is first. He is courteous.
Find that hard to believe.
Oh, you will see, you will see. Which one is he?
Let's see what this thing has for mana.
Oh. They were just waiting for you to tromp in here. Come on, open up. Alright, he's first. So, give me an idea what they look like. They look like a big broccoli. That's what you
I like
see.
that. The subtle skull imagery.
Yeah, very subtle.
Yeah. Very good. So these things are large, as you can tell, and they're moving in your direction. They sense you. Perhaps even reading your minds. Who's to say? It's been a while. I forgot how to Pathfinder. What do I do? Let's see how far away you are. 30 feet. 30 feet from you. Now they're flying, hovering above the ground. So this guy here is going to move straight ahead, kind of weaving its way through these fungus growths. Again, it's like a little forest, a big forest actually. Think of them as like trees. And he's making his way through this. He's about, let's see, how high up is he going to be? I'm going to say he's 10 feet up. Nice even number. So is the other one. And he gets that far with his first action, and then let me see, what else has he got here? All right, for 2 actions, he's going to use what is termed a spore cloud. It suddenly appears, a 30-foot cone directly at you guys. "30-foot cone."
Quick, hide behind the bear.
The bear's the smallest one here.
I know.
He's essentially going to hit you all with this spore. Alright, so 30-foot cone, spore cloud appears. It bursts from this giant puffball-like creature. Creatures that fail the save. Alright, so you're all going to make a basic fortitude save, because there is some damage coming up your way. Alright?
Here, pointing that.
So will I.
I will not.
Alright, is everybody done here? Alright, that is a critical save. You take no damage, Cypher. You're dodging out of the way. Anorian, I got you as a 26. That is going to be a fail. You're going to take full damage. Grizzleton gets a 21. That is going to be full damage. And Agatha, that is a fail. You're going to take full damage. So let's see what that damage is. I'll make this public. Let's see. It's going to be poison damage. Everybody takes 22 points, except Cypher, of poison damage. In addition, I'm going to need a second fortitude save. Make it public. If you failed, Cypher, you're good. Agatha, you're good. Norian, you're good. Grizzleton fails. Is he suffering additional effects? He's going to take 3 points of poison damage from inhaling this stuff on top of its initial effect. And he is drained 1 and enfeebled 2. Make yourself enfeebled too.
Got it.
Alright, so that's his first. Well, that's his last action. That cost him 2 actions to do that. Alright, now the other one. He's different. Let me see. I think I got these wrong. Yeah, that was that guy that should have moved. So let me move him 20. It wouldn't change anything. I got him backwards. So he actually moved there. He launched his attack, which would affect you. This guy hasn't moved. He's back here. And we're going to go to Enorian.
Yeah, you said these guys were levitating?
Yeah, about 10 feet off the ground. They're flying.
Okay. Well, that changes
Technically,
things a
they're
bit.
They're not moving very fast, so they're more like a hover. Technically, it's flying.
Okay, I'm going to strike. I'm going to cast the spell. Ignition on the one on the left. And a 26 will hit. It's going to take 12 points of fire damage.
1 second. All right. 12 points of fire damage. Ooh. Let's see. They have a weakness to fire. You notice it immediately as it takes an additional 10 points of damage. It takes 22 points of damage.
Woo, baby! Fireball next round, baby.
So you could see it. It ignites especially quickly and kind of pulls in. You see its little stalks at the bottom begin to shrivel and fall off. If it could squeal, it would squeal in pain right now.
And then my last action, I'm going to move up 10 feet.
So imagine him 10 feet above you from the ground. From the ground. Not from you, but from the ground. So if you were like 5 foot tall, he'd actually be 5 feet above you. His little feet.
Okay, so we'd still be within melee range.
Yeah.
Okay, because that was going to be my next question. Is this guy in melee range?
Once you get underneath him, yeah. You kind of gotta use your common sense. He's 10 feet above the ground. At least that's how I'm interpreting this. So, if you're 5 foot tall, right?
Yes, sir. And that's it.
All right. We're gonna go to Agatha.
Okay. Their weakness to fire. See what I got in my arsenal. Spells, where you be?
Come on, Agatha.
Okay,
You
sorry.
got this. Push that button.
Alright, so Agatha is going to cast Elemental Betrayal.
Let's see what that is.
And the one that she's going to be choosing, Air.
Well, describe for me what happens.
As
And what I have to
Agatha's
do.
watching... Go ahead.
And what I have to do. So describe to me what I have to do. You're the GM right now. Tell me what happens.
Okay. As Agatha is casting the elemental betrayal, you start to notice that the air around these creatures start to shimmer and start to like gain slightly grayish color around them, almost as if she's marking them. And by casting elemental betrayal, she is making them have weakness to a particular element, which she is choosing air, which is what they use to fly in. And so when she casts a spell that has to do with the air element, it's going to cause additional damage.
So I drag that to my token and I click what? Air?
Mhm.
I see. Alright. So that's one action.
Okay. And then for her last two, she's going to do double slashing gust on the creature that Anorian just struck.
Targets one or two creatures. They're both within 60 feet of you. You could attack two of them. Right?
She could.
You don't want to?
Why not? Does 25 hit on either one?
Well, you gotta... Well, you're gonna roll separately for each one.
Okay.
So the one over here we'll do first. So you got 25. His armor class is 25. This deals 2d4 slashing damage. On a critical success, the target also takes blah blah blah. If you're attacking two creatures, which you are, this counts as 2 attacks for your multiple attack penalty. So you'd be minus 10 if you attack again. But I think you're done anyway. Yeah, that's 2 actions. I'll take but it doesn't increase until both attacks. Second attack was a 7, or is that damage?
That's damage.
Alright, and that is slashing.
Mm-hmm.
This has air in it, so he's going to take an additional 2, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So 19.
Yep.
Let me check his traits here. Oh, it's already got the air figured in. It says air 4. Let me look at the other guy. Yeah, he doesn't have that. But this guy on the left, you put that hex on him, and it's on his character sheet here. It says air 4 under weakness. So it'd be 4, not 2.
Huh?
Your level is 9. Half rounded up is 5. Or something like that. Did that
And
drop the
that's it for
fraction?
me.
Looks like it dropped the fraction. How did it get 4? Well, whatever. Next guy. You're attacking him too. Roll attack against him. You need a 25 armor class.
Okay.
And then roll your damage if you hit. This guy up here. He probably has cover.
28.
But you definitely hit him regardless. Alright, so roll your damage. And he doesn't have that weakness. Okay. You're done?
And that's it for me.
Very good. Next we're going to go to Cypher.
Oh yeah. Alright, so Cypher is going to cast her Courageous Anthem, and she's singing along. And then she's going to cast this new spell. innate spell that's just coming from deep within, and she just shouts to Norian, "Go big or go home!" as she casts Enlarge on him.
Oh,
That's what she
Lord.
said. Yeah, baby, bring it to me.
So please put the spell Infect Enlarge on your character. I do believe it automatically makes you clumsy 1. That's just a dex thing. Hopefully you didn't need that.
No,
And then, of course,
I
everyone
don't
needs
need
Courageous
dex.
Anthem.
I don't need dex for spell strike, thank you.
All right. So yeah, now your range has increased as well to hit. So it's melee damage and
I love
reach.
you, Cypher.
Cypher, what have you done?
There's just maniacal laughter coming from the two of us.
Yeah, bring it on to me.
Agatha's just shaking her head and going, okay.
The bigger I am, the bigger the fireball, ladies.
Alright, that's my turn. Make sure you get Courageous Anthem on your characters, and we're good.
Okay.
Does the bear get Courageous Anthem?
Yes, he does.
He's inspired too?
Yeah.
Okay, next is... It should be... Wait a minute. Why didn't it do that? Nope, it's not letting him go again. Why is that? Oh, I know why. I've got it set to group initiative. They should both be doing things at the same time. So I'm going to manually take his turn now. That's what I'm going to do. So this guy. He's next. Alright, he's going to basically do what he was doing before. He's going to hover forward 20 feet. And then he's going to use his... Let's see, his reach 10 feet. You're 10 feet. The bear is 10 feet. So I think he'll do that and make 2 attacks. He's going to attack you, Anorian, because you're the biggest threat. You're just so big. You need to be
Literally.
clobbered.
Literally.
This is a tendril reaching out to you. $29.
Not critical.
Paralyze a creature hit with the puffball's tendril. Huh? Paralysis. A creature hit by the tendril must succeed at a fortitude save or become paralyzed. The paralyzed creature can attempt a new save at the end of each of its turns. So it hits you with the 29. It's going to roll damage, and you'll have to make a fortitude save to keep from being paralyzed. You'll take 29 points of bludgeoning damage.
I will hero point that. And 33.
Okay, you're okay. You're not paralyzed, but you take 29 damage.
Kind
Got
of funny that you mentioned paralyzed, because I was literally thinking one of the spells I should take should be something to cure being paralyzed. And I'm like, yeah, I have a feeling we're gonna run into this in the future. And paralyzation's like no joke. You don't want to mess with that. But I didn't take the spell.
Grizzleton's gonna take a slash tendril attack.
Not critical.
Alright, make his fortitude save. See if he gets paralyzed. Oof, 16.
Yeah, he's probably paralyzed.
28 is the check, the DC, so he's paralyzed. I'll drag it to his token. And his damage from the tendril attack. .22 bludgeoning. Poor Grizzleton. He's got his armor. And he's done
go to the next round. And it's the other creature. That's a 1-2 punch. Alright, he's going to lash at you if he's within range. Nope, you're 15 feet. Because 2 diagonals equals an extra 5. So he's going to have to move a little bit towards you, which he will do. And then he's going to lash at you with a couple tendrils. First one is a 32.
Not critical.
Okay, make your fortitude save. Again, paralysis. DC 28.
31.
You're good. Damage is going to be 2d12 plus 8. 17 bludgeoning. Do that again. 25. You miss.
Well, it's about to be. Emergency charge. Raise shield.
Okay.
Armor class 27.
Alright, so it misses. That's the end of him. He's done. Norian, you're up.
I'm take a 5-foot step. And I'm going to spell strike with ignition. The one on the right.
Alright,
Sorry, I was gonna ask Kyle, did you want to take a 5-foot step? The creature was in your range.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Before I do anything else, Grizzleton, does he have to make he's got some
Fortitude.
effects, yeah, so do that. Now, let's get that out of the way. Let's see if he's no longer paralyzed.
22.
It's probably at the end of his turn. That's a failure.
Then I'm going to spell strike with ignition against the one on the right, since I now have reach. That's critical hit. Yeah, baby, this is about to get real up in here. Alright. So he's going to take 24 points of bludgeoning damage. First off the bat. Second off, he's going to take ignition, which means he's going to take double damage from this and 1d4 persistent fire damage because it was a critical success. So 18 doubled is what?
36.
36, and he's going to take an additional d4 persistent.
You got a critical?
Yes, sir.
Alright, so let's see here. You did 36, so let me double. Which one is it? This one here?
Yes, sir. And 24 points of bludgeoning from the melee itself.
Double, and how much?
And 24 bludgeoning. The 36 was fire damage. I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
Yeah, that increases it to 46, so it's additional 10. That's not doubled. I don't think. I don't think that's doubled. I'm not going to double it. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know.
And then he's going to take an additional d4 persistent fire damage because it was a critical hit.
Is there something to drag on him?
There is in the spell description.
Which one? Leveled persistent fire damage?
Yes,
Or leveled persistent fire damage melee?
melee. Pull the melee one because I used it as a melee strike.
Nice move.
And then
Ouch. 5d6?
Yep, 5d6 double. And then for my last action, I'm going to spend my focus point heal companion for a 1-action heal on Grizzleton. He is within touch range of me. And I'm done.
Very good.
That's what a Magus can do, ladies and gentlemen. That's what a Magus can do.
Give yourself a hero point. Alright, Agatha. You're next. Get that one creature on the ropes. The other creature to the left, he's the one subjected to some air weakness. I think it's gone now because it's not showing up here now. Did you have to sustain that or something?
Probably. Let me double.
It's your hex. Your turn's just starting, so it should be.
Sustained duration. Sustained up to 1 minute.
Oh. But you still have to spend an action sustaining.
It doesn't say.
Well, that's how you sustain things.
Hmm.
And you can do that for a minute. It just doesn't apply for a minute. You have to sustain it with an action every turn that comes up. But you can do that for a minute, and that's it. Then the spell falls.
Alright.
So if you want to sustain it, spend the action and put the spell in the chat, and I'll drag it back on because it evidently disappeared.
Nah, I got another idea, Mom.
Okay.
To Honorian's left, he's gonna start to see the ground glow as Agatha begins to start to slightly glow this faintly yellowish color. Like, you can start to tell that she's like starting to shimmer and glow as a flower forms to Honorian's left, and it grows to medium size and opens up and blooms as she is casting. Let me pull it up here. Healing Well.
What do I do?
It is a 3-action spell.
The well appears as a disk of shimmering light on the ground in a square you touch. At any time during the duration, if you or an ally are adjacent to this square, this well, that character can interact to tap into the well's power, recovering 4d8 hit points. When it's been tapped 5 times, the spell ends. You'll have to keep track of this. The well is made of insubstantial energy, allowing creatures to move through it and even end their turn in its space. You have to pick the space. If you use an ability that increases the amount of healing the spell grants, that increase applies to the first time someone taps the well. So, where do you want it?
It should be to Honorian's left.
Right here?
I mean, not left, but right.
Yeah, right here.
That would actually work good right there, because I wouldn't have to move to activate it.
Alright, we'll keep it right there then. And since it is heightened, let's see here. Since she is a level 9. Not sure how it acts by level.
should already be automated.
Okay. And that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay, you're done. Excellent move.
In the healing well, can we just put in the number of times we can heal, and then we'll just count down from there? This way we don't forget how many times we've touched it.
Put a little number 5 next to it. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's not heightened, right?
She cast it at level 5. Heightened is +1, so healing increases by +. It should be already done here.
It is a
Nobody's
level
used it.
5. Okay.
So it's a level 5 spell?
Mm.
Alright, so it's already where it needs to be. That's its default. Non-heightened.
And end of my turn.
So at level 6, the healing increases by 3 if you prepared it as a level 6 spell in the future. Just so you know. Okay, Cypher's next.
Okay.
Give yourself a healing hero point, Agatha.
Alright.
Getting creative here. I like it.
I don't need to tap into that well, and I'll leave that to everyone else. But what do I want to do?
Whips.
What's the distance? This is the one that goes next, right? Well, technically they both do, but...
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, he's next. After you.
I'm going... These mushrooms here, is this something I could take cover
Yeah.
under?
Yep.
Okay.
Think of it like a tree or a big shrub.
Oh, my token is even underneath it. Alright, well, I'm going to rush behind it, sing my courageous anthem once more, to give everybody that bonus, and then I'm going to take cover.
Okay, you're going to get a 2 to your armor class in this case. Could make it 4. You are behind a big old guy there.
Yeah, she's behind a really giant Anorian right now.
I think greater cover is a bonus of 4 to your armor class and savings throws, reflex savings throws. So we'll give you a +4 bonus. Greater cover. So I'm feeling very generous tonight.
You are, thanks.
Give yourself a hero point.
Really,
Yes.
really generous.
Yeah. You'll need them.
There we go. And that is the end of my turn.
Gonna go to the creature that I can't click on. That's that one there. He's next.
Let's see, shall we blow a puff of poison?
Hmm. You guys are spaced out. I can't get y'all.
Bastards.
Alright, so it's either those two or these two. I'm gonna say it's good chance it's gonna be on Grizzleton's location. But I'm gonna roll a dice. 1 to 4, it's on Grizzleton's location. Grizzleton's location.
No.
Oh boy.
Alright, here comes the puff. The power puff. This is called Spore Cloud. And it's poisonous. And there's the cone. 48 poison damage. It's a savings throw, basic, of 28. So Grizzleton and Agatha make a basic fortitude save. This will determine how much damage you actually take.
I'm rerolling it.
Okay, go ahead. You can use a hero point on
Gotta
Grizzleton.
take it.
You gonna take it?
Yeah, he doesn't have a hero point.
Well, you can give him one of yours. You use his with... I don't know, doesn't he get hero points too, separately, or no? Does he use yours?
He is a companion, so I don't know if that's different or not.
Well, look at his sheet.
It's got a space for hero points.
Alright, well, he has one to start the session.
Okay, then he will use it here.
Yeah, give him 2. Yeah. He can have an extra one.
22.
Actually, he hasn't done anything. 22 is a failure. You need a 28. Agatha, you failed, so you're both going to take this amount of damage. 14 points of power puff damage. Poison. In addition, both of you make another fortitude save. See if you're affected by skull rot.
I'm definitely affected by it.
I'm not.
It's the same DC 28. So you're okay, Agatha. You don't suffer from skull rot. However, Grizzleton, he's already affected by it, which means he's going to worsen. So he's going to be drained 2, enfeebled 2. So change those values. They should both be 2, enfeebled and drained. And he takes 18 more poison damage. And now I'm going to roll a dice. Okay. That's for the... That was for the duration. So 3 more rounds. You wouldn't know that. And then it's gonna attack the giant Anarian with its last action. A 31.
Not critical.
Give me a fortitude save to see if you're paralyzed.
I will hero point that. Can't afford a paralysis here. No, I'm paralyzed.
Paralyzed and 30. What was the damage? 30.
Yep.
31. Is that 31 damage? No, 32. 32. 32 damage. Lunging. Ouch, in her hand. Better hit that wellness.
I can't move, I'm paralyzed.
No. No. Alright, he's done. We're going to go to the next round, round 3, and it's the other creature. The old 1-2 punch. Oof. It's going to move here. It senses your presence, Cypher. And it moves close to also engage you. as the giant in front of you seems to be frozen in place. His arms and legs stiffened. 1 to 2, he's going to attack Cypher. 5, it's going to hit Anorian instead.
Hit, not critical.
Okay, damage. $16 points of bludgeoning.
Down.
Last attack is going to be on Cypher. I believe you're at 10 feet. If not, I won't make the attack. 24.
Miss.
Miss. Okay, he's done. We gotta go to Agatha.
Agatha is reaching out to stabilize Honor.
30 feet, one dying creature, life energy. Okay, so,
And then
so you're unconscious. You're no longer dying. You are wounded 1.
Yep.
Boy, do you have a lot of condition markers on you.
Well, am I still paralyzed though?
Yes, you're paralyzed.
Sure.
You have to continue to make those saves.
And as her last action, she's casting Wildling Word on the creature that attacked, will try to attack Cypher and Honorian.
Say that again.
She's casting Wildling Word on the creature right here that's close proximity to Honorian's body and Cypher.
Defense is will. Duration sustained for up to 1 minute. So another sustained thing. If it's measures damage displeasure, blah blah blah. The target must attempt a will save if the creature is an animal, fungus, or plant. Ooh. He's a fungus. If the creature is an animal, fungus, or plant, it takes a -1 circumstance penalty to the save. Alright, so let me make the savings here. It's a 27. -1, I didn't put it in there, so it's actually a 20, so it's failure. Not a critical failure. So that means a success, but the target also becomes sickened 1 each time it damages you. Oh, so it's got a -2 to its roll to hit you. Plus it's sickened 1. Each time it damages you. If it damages you. So all its rolls are -2. And if it damages you, it becomes sickened. Each time it damages you. Alright. You done? No. That was 1 action. Stabilize? You are done. Okay. Cypher. What do you do?
I have no way to break that paralysis. I was just talking and thinking about it. Darn. I will cast Soothe. at my highest spell level here on Honorian. To deal a measly 51. And
That's a lot more than you think.
please also drag the spell effect Soothe,
Got it.
as you do get a bonus towards the any mental effects.
Gotcha.
Ah.
Thank you.
And then I don't exactly enjoy being in this spot because without being able to go back, since we're on the edge of the map,
I could take you back if you want. If you want to just run way back. You can do it. I'll just add to your range or whatever. I'll just take it to the other map and bring the creatures. Because there is space for them on there. If you want to do that. Just do what you have to do.
oh boy. Yeah, she'd back away 30 feet.
Alright, make a note.
From Honorian.
Alright, 30 feet.
So like about here.
Okay, looks good to me. We'll just put your token up here or something to remind us. You're 30 feet away. Hey. Alright, you good with that?
Yeah, I put 30 feet. Obviously, I'm not flying, but just a reminder, 30 feet from, where we were.
Okay, we're going back to this creature then. If you're done.
Yep.
Let's see. Norian, you're conscious now, right?
I have them still down.
The bear is near death. Agatha's right behind the bear. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's just gonna lash at the bear. $28.
Hit, not critical. And Grizzleton is down.
Grizzleton drops. He's still paralyzed, right?
Yeah, I never rolled anything for
Make
him.
another check for him. Do it at the end of your turn.
Yep, still paralyzed.
All right.
And dying 1.
Dying 1. And let's see how far away you are. 15 feet, Agatha. So that's one action. Right here. Second action. Third action is to attack Agatha. With one of these whips. 25.
I think that's a hit, not crit.
Okay, make a Fortitude 28 save to see if you become paralyzed. Okay, you take 16 damage from the bludgeoning attack, which I already applied. You don't have to do anything. And your 30 save is very good. You are not paralyzed. And that's going to end its turn. We're going to go to the next round. The other creature is up. They're surrounding you. It's not looking good. Now you're still on the ground. So
Yeah.
this
I gotta make a Fortitude.
this creature here is going to pursue Oh, he's gonna move here.
Fritz just skipped me.
Where'd the creature go? Oh, because you were dying. Sorry, there was the change in initiative because you were dying.
Yeah, it did it automatically. I think I gotta make a fortitude save. Rid of this paralysis.
Do it at the end of your turn.
Well, I can't really do anything
Exactly.
with it. So.
24 is a failure.
Yep,
Turn's done.
that's it.
Right, now it's the creature. See, that's 20 feet. That's as far as he can frickin' move. And it's then that he spots the elf making haste. But it's also squared off against Agatha, so before it heads off for the elf, he's gonna finish off Agatha. $23.
Hit.
Just hits you. Okay, here's your damage. 25 bludgeoning. You got 3 hit points left. Now make your fortitude save.
You said 42 seconds?
Yep, to avoid paralysis. Got a hero point?
No. Wait, yes I do, yes I do. Like that's any fun.
Fail. So you're paralyzed. Let me put that on your token. Basically can't move, can't cast spells. He can only watch around you as your friends are dealt deadly blows. So it moved, lashed, froze you, and then it sees the elf running away. Now you're about 30 feet away, 25, 30 feet away, since he's 5 feet closer. But he can't reach you. He's going to move, so he is about... I guess he could reach you. He could move 20.
Yeah.
He's 25 feet away, so he would be about there, right? 5 foot difference. And then he's done.
Alright. Also, I just want to let you guys know that while you're paralyzed, you can still recall knowledge. So don't think that there's nothing to do on your turn. Because you never know if that info is going to be useful in general. Just as long as the creature's standing, like, in your eyesight. So yeah, no clue what to do.
Agatha, you're up.
Alright.
Are you down? No, you're not.
Not down yet.
Don't forget the healing well.
I don't think she can reach it.
It's right there
So she's
adjacent to you.
But I mean, she's paralyzed, she can't move.
That's right. Sorry.
Screw it, why not? Gonna try and do recall knowledge. Gonna do recall knowledge in nature.
On the creature?
Mm.
Well, I'll tell you what your options are. Let's see.
Wait, can I use my cave floor?
Let's see. It's gonna
Wait,
be...
you have cave lore?
I have cave lore.
What's your cave lore?
Cave lore is at plus 15.
What's your nature?
Plus 16.
You want to use nature then.
Oh, yeah. That's cool though.
Give me a nature check. You're good at these.
24.
Paralyzed. Your body is frozen in place. You have a flat-footed condition and can't act except to recall knowledge and act in other ways that require use of your mind as determined d6. Can't act except thinking. This is done at the end of your turn. That save. 24? These are known as Reaper Skull puffballs. They inhabit caves. I'm giving you a little extra here because you do have cave lore. Very dangerous creature, as you can tell. You don't know anything else.
Alright, and then I'll do my
Save.
fortitude, right?
Yeah, 28. $23.
Did you say I had a hero point from the cave lore?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I was like, wait, did he say that or no?
You have no hero points remaining.
But yeah, that's the end of it.
Cypher, you're next.
Okay, I cast invisibility and then put myself up to there with my 40-foot speed. Yeah, because I was there.
Okay.
30 feet from him. Alright, so that's my new location.
Alright.
That's the end of my turn. Just trying to get away.
And you're invisible?
Yes.
0.
Let me add the invisibility.
Yeah. Very cool. I like that. Right, Anorian? Oh no, wait, that creature has to go the other one. This one. So the bear is paralyzed and unconscious, right?
Yes.
He's on the ground. Agatha, you're still up and at him, but you're paralyzed, right?
But I'm near death.
Right, but you're up and at him.
Mhm.
And Anorian, what are you?
I'm down, paralyzed.
So you're prone. Prone
Yep,
and
I'm
paralyzed.
paralyzed.
Everybody's paralyzed. Wow.
Oh, except for Cypher.
Cypher's invisible.
He's
However-
just trying to like stay alive to help everybody.
This could be bad. This creature. Alright, let me look at something real quick. And instead, he lashes at Anorian.
That's a miss.
That's a miss. Anorian, are you up?
No. We'll attempt to recall knowledge. On one of these creatures. You said nature?
Nature.
$19.
Never heard of him before. Giant Broccoli's.
Okay. Did you want me to go ahead and do Grizzleton's death save and fortitude before I do my own.
Yes.
There's Grizzleton's fortitude. Yep, still paralyzed. And he got a critical success on the dying, so he is no longer dying at all.
Pump him up.
He's just paralyzed. And then we'll do my fortitude. Nope.
Critical fail.
Nope. So I'm done. Still paralyzed on the ground.
Now we get to this creature. So, these creatures, let's back up with these creatures a little bit so we understand this. They don't see. They don't use vision. They sense the motion of the air. They sense the vibrations of the ground. So as you guys move and come within 60 feet, that's when they turn and start moving towards you to attack. With that in our mind, this creature is up next. Now, it would sense the presence of the elf moving in. The rest of you, you're all within 60 feet. It may not necessarily sense you. You're breathing. There is that. You're not dead. So it would probably sense your location. And I believe that's everybody, right? You're all in bad shape. It's going to wander a little bit closer. Right to here. Oh, that's a little too far. It only moves 20. I don't know what it moved. And then there's a lull. Agatha, you're next.
She's not gonna attempt anything, so try and see if she can break the paralysis, seeing how the creatures haven't attacked.
It's 10:40 p.m.
30.
Jeez, where did the time go?
I know, right?
Do you want to wrap up this round and think about your next moves, or do you want to finish this?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get through this round, then we can wrap it up.
Yeah. All right, let's finish. Agatha, you got success on your savings throw. You're no longer paralyzed, but your turn is over. We're going to go to Cypher.
So yeah, she's still just gonna continuously run around. You can just call off a spell, right?
Depends on what the spell is. Drop a spell, takes an action. If you want to end the spell, I'll let you.
Okay, because she was just gonna try to drag him out.
Yeah.
Alright. One action, dispel. Second action, pick him up. Third action, carry him as far away as possible.
Which ain't gonna be far if we consider his bulk.
She's seeing Agatha, like, kind of, like, almost stretching and come to. And Cypher's just like, I'm sorry about the bear, but, you know, I'm sure you'd rather live another day to see another Grizzleton than die with the one you know. And you can't respond, you're paralyzed.
For now, but you can definitely see a really eerily kind of angry look over his eyes there.
And then Cypher's just like, and if you give me lip about this later, I'll let you die next time. And she's carrying
The rage intensifies.
Sweat is coming off his forehead. That's all you notice.
So, and I want to point this out that Honorian, all he hears is Cypher's voice. He doesn't see her. She's visibly being dragged away.
No, but he can kind of mime what's going on. He doesn't see Cypher anywhere, but yet he's being dragged away. Obviously, somebody's doing it.
Okay. So we'll take you off the map so many feet away. So you and the elf are out of there. We'll do it that way. And the creature will be up next, which is this one. And, all right, he's going to try and finish off the bear. Another whip. It's a 728.
Not crit.
Fortitude save to keep from paralyzed. He's already paralyzed. Damage is 21 points of bludgeoning on the
She's
bear.
down.
This is the bear.
Oh, thank God.
This is the bear, Dizzy.
He goes back into dying.
So add his wounded condition, so it's 3. Or no, sorry, 2. Dying 2 for the bear. And let's see, that was 1 attack. Second attack will be on Agatha because she's still standing.
To heal, do you have to interact as an action with the well, or do you just have to like stand on it?
Touch it with an action.
It's an action, okay.
Miss.
Oh, it missed you.
DC is 22. AC is 22.
But you're still standing, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then it's going to attack you again.
Fuck.
$19.
Oh, thank God.
So it spent 3 attacks lashing at you. It got the bear. It missed you, Agatha.
God.
Technically, the bear goes before this creature. In other words, right after Cypher, but we're going to keep it the way it is in the initiative. Not going to move people.
Actually, do you mind if we just go through this final? Because I think we're all in agreement that we're running away.
Okay. And
Yeah.
Anorian,
Yes.
you're up.
I really the only thing I can do is roll for the paralysis. So
Okay, go ahead.
Fortitude coming at you. $23. Nope.
She's gonna drop a Norian, go back, get Agatha, and do the same thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Just gradually inching along the wall and getting them out. You can consider this fleeing. 20 to get back to her. And then from there, I'll grab her and pick her up and bring her as far as I possibly can go.
Okay, you could do it. No problem. Your actions are done. You're down there with an Anorian. You've got both bodies with you. You've been saved by Cypher. She managed to pull both of your bodies, not carrying you, but dragging you, which probably wasn't very far. Bear, not so lucky. We'll make
Norian's gonna be pissed.
We'll make some rolls for him, Kyle, to see if he dies and is left to die. We'll see what happens. Right now he's still alive, dying too, but we'll figure that out next time. All right, and that's where we'll call it. So right where you are is where you are.
Yeah, I definitely have to go to bed as well. Have a good night, everybody.
All right, Rachel,
See you next week.
thanks. Well done.
Bye.
You too. Dizzy, if you have to go.
I'll catch y'all later.
All right. Dizzy, take care.
Hey, cat. Bye.
Sorry,
Sorry, I missed it. Have a good night.
All right, folks, we're going to call it here. Very interesting. Good session. Kyle, what do you think? What's going on, Kyle?
Yeah, we got to do some diplomacy, got to do some exploration. I was really kind of thinking I'd have to really go through my paces on the diplomacy side. Yeah, we got a critical on spell strike, so that was a first. We got to really lay the lumber there for a minute.
Gonna call it here. We'll see you next week. Episode 99 is next. We're closing in. Things are gonna get tough from here on out, I think. Well, let's see what happens. We should see Sheppy next week. Folks, hang in there. It's only gonna get better. And that's the truth. See you next time.